thank you very much to all of you who have tuned in tonight, especially a big thank you to the members. And today we are cooking one of our best-selling dishes from last year, the Toast Skagen. But I thought I'll just throw in a little bit extra tonight. I know there is still quite a few people trying to log on. So to start with, I thought, why not do a little quick dessert you can do just before your guests arrive, because we are allowed soon to have guests at home again. So I went to the market today, and strawberries are in season. I don't know if you can see them here. I got all of these strawberries today for $1. So I read up on it a bit, and yeah, the farmers are growing a lot of strawberries, and we are not enough people, especially of course in the hospitality industry, that's buying any fruit at the moment, not much. So please support our farmers, go out and buy some strawberries and try and make this dessert at home. I've tried and set it up so you can use a bit of the leftover you might have in the fridge. So you can definitely use blueberries if you have blueberries or any other kind of berries. So I'm going to do this strawberry trifle recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to marinate the strawberries just really quick. I've given them a wash already. So I'm just going to cut them into quarters, and that way we can get the sugar and the orange juice in. I'm going to do a version that is for the whole family. But if you want to do an adults only, you can of course, instead of using the orange juice for marinating, you can use a bit of Grand Marnier, or some dessert wine, or you can use both. So just cutting up some strawberries here. I think that will be enough. So I'm just going to give them a quick little marinade. So I have some oranges here that desperately needed to be used in the fridge. So just give it a little bit of a squeeze. A little bit of sugar. Not that they need sugar at the moment, but just to get them to marinate a little bit with the orange juice. So for the trifle mix, I have a bit of sponge cake left that had a bit of strawberry jam on it, which of course will pair nicely with this. You can use, if you have a bit of a few vanilla muffins that have gone a bit dry because you bought them 2 days ago, you can slice them up and put them in. If you have some macaroons or anything like that, you can crunch them up and put them in between. So I have a bit of mascarpone in the fridge, and I had a little bit of some strawberry yogurt. So I thought that might work nice. So I'll just mix that well together. And that's pretty much the ingredients. If you don't have mascarpone, you have a bit of sour cream, you can use sour cream. Then you can maybe put in a little bit more honey in the mix. This definitely doesn't need any more sweetener. But if you use sour cream, maybe a bit of honey, you can use whipped cream with some yogurt instead. And that's pretty much it. And then you just layer them up a bit. So these have started to marinate. You can see the liquid is coming out. So we'll just place a little bit of these in the glasses. and then place in a sponge or little muffin or whatever you have. Then a bit of the mix. Spoon it over. Doesn't need to be perfect because you're going to put it in a fridge for a couple of hours, and that way it will kind of blend itself together anyway. Then we just give it another layer, a few more strawberries. A little, one more of the sponge cake. And then I'll just give it a little bit of the liquid I have here. And I left some of the strawberries here that I'm gonna use for garnish a little bit later. Just a little bit more of the mix here. There we go. And there you have it, a really super quick little dessert that you can put in the fridge for a couple of hours, even the day before. And as I said, you can use other berries, everything for the mix, any other things for the mix. And it's just a bit of a, it looks like $1 million, but it's really, really quick and easy. So we'll pop that in the fridge and serve that up later. So for you, you people that's just joined in now, just before we are doing the Skagen toast, we just showed how to do a quick and easy dessert with leftover things that you might have in the fridge, or strawberries that are really cheap and really good at the moment and really cheap. So, so on to the main event today, which is Toast Skagen. And Toast Skagen is a dish that me as a Danish person would love to take credit for, but it's actually a Swedish person that had made this dish, but called it after a place in Denmark. So it was one of the, as I mentioned earlier, it was one of the most popular dishes we did when we opened up after the last lockdown last year, mid-year. And it's a dish that comes from a sailor and a restaurateur. So he was actually on a regatta, which makes sense, and which I bet a lot of you are hoping that you'll soon be on again. And he was sailing from Sweden. He was from Skåne, and he sailed around Denmark and went to the northern point. And then the wind completely died when he went on the other side on the northern side of Denmark. And he came up with a dish because everyone could just sit down. It was a sailing boat, nothing to do. So he came up with a really simple dish, and it was ingredients he had. It was prawn, it was dill, it was mayonnaise, and some dry bread. And that's what the recipe actually came from. And now it is on every lunch menu, every small restaurant, everyone that is serving up anything for lunch, anything light in a restaurant in Sweden, they definitely have this on the menu. So I am doing the version that Magnus, my Swedish head chef, and I came up with. There are as many recipes or ways of doing this dish as there are recipes for rissoles in Australia. It is very a dish that you can add to make it more simple, make it very elegant, but it is a really basic recipe, a basic dish. So the recipe we are doing, and we did last year here, was it had Spanish onions or red onions in it. That's the mix, the Skagen mix that is going on top of the toast. As I said, this is the way that we are doing it here. at the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. Some places, and some of you I bet have been to Sweden and have bought this dish. It can also be done on a big piece of bread and things kind of stacked on top of it. We have broken it down a little bit, made it a little bit more elegant. So I like to give onions a little bit of a rinse after I have chopped them up. And it's because it can be quite a strong onion flavor. Sometimes the onions are not really as fresh as we are hoping that they will be. So I like to give them a rinse, and also if it's the time of the year like now, spring, where we're not getting super fresh onions, it will freshen them up a little bit and they'll just get a little bit more crunchy. So, so just give them a fine chop. I'm not chopping too quick. You're all following along. There we go. So I'm just gonna place them into this bowl here with just a little bit of cold water, and it'll freshen it up. So here we go. It's really finely chopped. Doesn't need to be this finely chopped. Just gonna give it a little bit of cold water. And it's just for a few minutes. If you really like the strong flavor of onions, don't need to rinse it at all. That's fine. It can just sometimes be a little bit overpowering. Then the other ingredients in the Skagen mix is the dill and the mayonnaise. So I think the recipe says 4 springs, but I mean, if you make a little bit extra, you can use it tomorrow or the day after. It'll last 3 or 4 days in the fridge, and you can use it for, other things, for dressings in a salad. So I'm just gonna chop this up. Go. So just give that. As I said, it was a recipe that, what was the fella's name? Toast, I think his name was, that came up with in the mid 1950s, and it's still one of the most popular dishes in Sweden. So here we go. So with the mix, I'm gonna take a bit of mayonnaise. Here we go. And the chopped dill. A little bit of salt and pepper. Some lemon juice, just a little bit, otherwise it'll get too runny. We are going to serve lemon with the dish anyway. And then just a little bit of lemon zest. Let's get the flavors in there. So we'll give that a little good mix. So in this, I will then mix in the onions. So they were the one we just chopped up and put in a little bit of water just to get that flavor out. So I'm just going to strain that.
Yes, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Jen asks what mayo you're using.
I'm using a whole egg mayo. When I'm cooking this at home, I would make my own mayonnaise, which is pretty much 1 egg yolk with a bit of mustard, salt and pepper, a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar, and you beat that up really good. And that will take about 1 deciliter or 100 ml of the oil, vegetable oil. Use an oil that doesn't have too much flavor. But when I do cooking down here at the Cruising Nut Cup of Australia or for catering, of course, I buy in the mayonnaise. We get a really good brand in, it's a whole egg mayonnaise, because we just have to be careful with the use of raw eggs. So we can't do that. So I just use a whole egg mayonnaise. So it's quite rich and quite fluffy, and it has not a distinct taste, but you can really, and therefore you can use Dijon mustard or add other things. So that's what I would recommend. But at home, I would make it from scratch. But when I'm serving it to clients, I buy it in, I must admit. So just to make absolutely sure there's no salmonella or anything like that. So I strained the onions. So this is going to be really runny if you mix it in like that. So I'm just going to give it a really good squeeze. You can just put it out on the cutting board with a bit of a paper towel. I have this chop roll here. You can buy it at Bunnings or anywhere. And I'm just going to give that a really good squeeze. Just get all the liquid out. This way you're just getting the really refined flavor of the onion with a bit of the harsh aftertaste gone. There we go. So then we're just tipping this into the mix. So, making a bit of a mess here. And then we mix that in. And there we have it. That is the Skagen, or our take on the Skagen mix that we're going to place on the toast a bit later. So just to recap, we're doing the Toast Skagen. We've chopped the onions. We have made the mix with the chopped dill. I cheated and did some toast a bit earlier. As I said, in Sweden, sometimes they make a big toast and put it on top. We like to do 2 or 3 here at the club, just to build it up a little bit and to get a bit of height on the dish. So, so that's what we're going to place on. So now what I need to do for the dish, I need to peel the prawns. So these prawns here I got from the fish market. They are Queensland king prawns. You can use whatever prawns you like. You can use tiger prawns. I even saw that they now started at Coles and Woolies. They've started stocking the Greenlander prawns as well, the small ones that are in like a brine. That is actually really close to what they use in Denmark and Sweden. But you can really use whatever you like. As I mentioned last time, the fish market is really struggling. So, of course, I think you should use your little local seafood supplier for prawns. If they're closed or don't have prawns, and you live within driving range to the fish market. I definitely think you should go down there, like many others. They're struggling at the moment, like we talked about at the last Zoom. You can drive down. Parking is free at the moment, and yeah, so you can drive in, get your things. Most of the shops down there are outside, so yeah, it's really safe. So you can peel the prawns in many different ways. I like maybe to have one of the prawns that I just peel the tail and leave the end bit on and the head on. So it's a bit of a, it looks good. So you can actually see the prawn. And then maybe the rest of them, I peel completely. So I like to leave the end bit on, but of course just cut off that not so nice point there. And we normally serve four prawns with a dish. But if you want to make it more like a main course, you can add more prawns, add a bit more to the salad as well. There it goes. Just going to cut the end bits off. Get these out. I'm not the quickest to peel prawns. I think there's many of you guys that would be quicker. Oh, there we go. So I just make sure all the shells are off. I like to just cut the end bit there and then just let the knife run down the back. Just pull out this here. So what we got there, we just need a few more. If you get the prawns and of course you buy what you think is best and you take them home and you didn't get to do this dish today and you maybe didn't do it tomorrow, so suddenly it's 3 days old and you're like, oh, they're still okay because they smell like the sea. That's how we know that seafood is good. If it smells like seafood, it's not good. If it smells like the sea, that's what we want. But they're just not that nice and firm anymore. They're not that nice pink color anymore. I'm just going to show you a quick trick how to freshen them up. And I did work a little bit out at the Sydney seafood market, and this is actually a trick that they do themselves as well. If they have a batch of prawns that they're not really that happy with, there's nothing wrong with them, but they just doesn't have that freshness that we all really like. So a little tip to do is when you peel them all, I think that's enough for two. Just gonna get rid of this. Just give them a little bit of salt, actually quite a bit of salt, and a little bit of sugar. It just brings out the sweetness in prawns. A little bit of water. A little bit of ice. And some lemon juice. That really freshen them up. The salt, of course, the acid, and the sweetness of the sugar. So the salt and the sugar actually play a little bit against each other. and then just some ice again with the cold water, like with the onions we talked about, that makes things a little bit more firm. And just give that good swirl. And, that will freshen them up a little bit. So it's just a quick rinse. So we're just gonna take them up again and just leave them on some paper so they can just dry out and not make the dish wet when we're gonna tray it up. Just place them in here. Nice. There we go. So before we play it up, I'll just talk a little bit about the wine. So the wine that Marina and I have paired this up. Marina is the boss lady here when it comes to wine. She has recommended this Pinot Gris, botanical Pinot Gris. It's from the First Creek winery in Hunter Valley. It's a family vineyard in the oldest wine region of Australia. It's as I mentioned, a family winery done by Liz and Greg and Sean Silkman, and it's a nice light wine. It is really good with these prawn dish because that's a lot of delicate flavors. It has a hint of lime, a hint of green apple, a hint of pear, and as I mentioned, really chilled. Serve that up, and it goes really well with this dish. It's actually quite a hard wine to find in the bottle shops, but you can buy it if you are a member. You can actually buy it here through the lockdown CYCA bottle shop, and it is $19, and it's quite a good value, and it's a wine that goes really well with a lot of summer dishes, seafood dishes here for summer. So I'll plate up this Skagen dish here. I'll just clean up a bit here, made a bit of a mess. I don't know if you can see that. So here we have the plates. They're situated well. There you go, Mitch. Yeah. Go. So we will have some mixed leaf. I have some mixed leaf here, the mescaline mix you can buy at the supermarket. I just have a bit of olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice in there. So just mix that up a little bit. Then I'm gonna spoon up the Skagen mix that we made earlier. Might just give that a bit of a taste. Yeah, it's lovely. So as I mentioned, you will see some places that has it on just one piece of toast. Magnus and I have come up with this way of doing it. So we're just placing the mix on 3 pieces of toast bread per person. This is a sourdough baguette that I had in the freezer. Gave it some really good olive oil, some sea salt, and just toasted it in the oven so it's nice and crunchy. So I'll put that on each toast bread. There we go. So what I've done is that I just spooned the mix on, the mix with the mayonnaise, the dill, salt, pepper, the Spanish onion that we just rinsed off. So we'll spoon that on. We have the salad here that I have dressed. And of course you can plate this up however you like to plate it up. We have these beautiful white bowls here. So I like to place it up just a little bit to one side. Go. Put the toast, maybe shove them a little bit under, maybe have one little bit on top. Do that like that. Then we place the prawns on. So here's the prawns we left the whole head on. We might put that up there. And then we can place the other a bit around. I mentioned in the recipe some fish raw. I have salmon eggs here from South Australia. But as mentioned, you can use flying fish raw. You can use, if your budget is good, you can use the real Russian caviar. Pretty much whatever you like, you can use on. In Scandinavia, we use a loiron, which is a bit harder to get here in Australia. And garnish with a few sprigs of dill. You can put them like on the toast so it pops a little bit. I like to give it just a little drizzle of olive oil around. And how's everyone going out there? Can you keep up? Please let me know if you have any questions. So a little bit of olive oil. Another thing you can put on like a herb oil. If you have an abundance of basil or dill or anything like that, you can put it in the blender with a bit of oil. That actually lasts really well in the fridge. And that way that will pop a bit more. I have some some charcoal salt here that we used to put on when we had it on here. The members will definitely recognize this. A bit of black sea salt. And there you have it. Just to recap, the salad is just dressed with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice. The prawns that we peeled have just been rinsed in some salt, sugar, and lemon water, ice water, and the toast with the Skagen mix, which has the dill and the Spanish onions that again was rinsed, washed, and some salt, pepper, and lemon juice. So quite a simple menu, simple items, but yeah, it was very popular, and it is a really nice summer dish. I don't know if there are any more questions. Otherwise, I will just pull out the dessert that we started with. And for you people that maybe were a little bit late in, I just I did up a quick dessert just because I saw strawberries were super cheap in the supermarket today. And I read an article that there is a complete oversupply of berries and fruit at the moment because of us restaurateurs and restaurants, cafes are not open at the moment. So please support the farmers, go out and buy some berries, or it was a good dessert if you had some fruit left in the fruit bowl or in the crisper that is going off. So for the people that weren't didn't see the beginning, it's just a bit of a trifle, berry trifle, just marinated the berries a little bit. I had a bit of sponge cakes, but as I said, you can use a bit of crumbled up macaroons, a bit of a vanilla cupcake or whatever, just put it in the layers. I use mascarpone and a bit of strawberry yogurt, but you can use whipped cream, you can use a bit of sour cream, and just put it in the layers. So I'll just put a little bit more of the strawberries on, and we might just top it with a fresh strawberry on top. And there you have it. So that's a little good dessert to have. And here we have the Toast Skagen. And of course, I almost forgot the most important thing, a bit of lemon. So we need to add that as well, of course, to the dish. So a bit of lemon cheek or a lemon wedge. So we'll put that on there. So if there are no more questions, or if they are, please let me know. But while you have a think about that, I just want to mention a few things. We are still open for takeaways. Vicky and I are down here every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Because the paella have been so popular on Saturdays, we keep doing that. We call it the lockdown paella. So we do up 70 portions and we start selling around midday, and we normally sell out around 20 past midday. So please come down, give Vicky a call on the bistro phone. If you're running late and you desperately want to serve, we'll put it aside for you. The Father's Day steak sandwich we cooked on the barbecue outside was so popular last Sunday that we're going to do it one more Sunday. So we're doing that again this Sunday. We're doing up 40 portions. They sold out about 1 o'clock last Sunday, so we'll see how quick they go this week. Like I mentioned last time I was here, we have added to the takeaway menu. We now have a Caesar salad on, and we now have a spring chicken salad on with grilled chicken and feta cheese and avocado. So please come down and say hello one of those 4 days. The next time I will be cooking for you, cooking with you, will be Thursday, the 30th of September. So I hope that you will tune in then. And until then, thank you so much. And please come down and say hello. And I can't wait for these umbrellas to be opened back up. And we'll see you all back here at the club.